The French Dispatch. I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan. I've seen every movie of his. And they've ranged from one of my favorites, The Royal Tenenbaums, to nothing special, but still charming and entertaining, The Fantastic Mr. Fox. I felt the man is incapable of making a bad movie, and with this latest entry, do you prove me right? Well, I guess you can't prove a negative. With my mathematical mind, I should know that, all statistics I've done. So you can't prove that he's incapable of making a bad movie, but did this movie at least fail to disprove that notion? The answer is yes, it failed to disprove the notion that he can't make a bad movie. To put it in layman's terms, it's not a bad movie. In fact, it's not even an average movie. It's a good movie. The framing sequences are about a newspaper, the titular French Dispatch. It was founded by Bill Murray's character back in the 70s, and when we see what's happened with it over the decades, and then the other characters who work at that newspaper in their own quirky way dealing with the grief. The framing sequences are brief, though. Most of the movie is the three individual stories, and these self-contained segments are telling stories that take place in or are being told in specific sections of the newspaper. For instance, the first one deals with arts, it's from the arts and culture section. That's the one that sticks most in my head because it's not so utterly charming. There's so many Wes Anderson tales, but Benicio del Toro gives a fantastic performance playing an intriguingly written character, and Léa Seydoux, she's so utterly beguiling. Those of you who have been on my written blog, see my post about Blue's the Warmest Color, know how I feel about her. In terms of my affection for her, she's almost moved on par with her Blue's the Warmest Color co-star Adele Akropoulos, however you say that name. As much as I would love to marry her, I don't know how to say that complicated last name. But the point is, Léa Seydoux, the co-lead, secondary actor from Blue's the Warmest Color, is terrific in this movie, her segment in this movie as Benicio del Toro. As with people in other two segments, those two didn't stick as much in my head, but they definitely entertained me while I was watching them. And again, Freddie seems to do a lovely job bringing it all together. So if I had, if I had to I go rate this movie on a scale of previous Wes Anderson movies. The arts and culture one is on par with The Royal Tenenbaums. The other two segments about on par with The Grand Budapest Hotel, which might be the movie just above The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Framing sequences are more like the Darjeeling Limited, probably my second favorite Anderson movie, or at least my third favorite, with Isle of Dogs coming second. But in terms of overall quality, the Wes Anderson movie I put this most on par with would be in fact, probably the Darjeeling Limited. So that's very high praise, that between the Darjeeling Limited and Isle of Dogs, so between my third favorite movies by the guy whose entire filmography I've loved, all 10 movies, or all films I at least liked and some I've really loved. All right, sorry if I'm rambling, but a long short of it is, watch the movie, you indie film lovers. But for further thoughts, you can go to my written blog, AutisticArtCritic.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Thank you.